Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel, and today I'm going to be installing a solid transmission mount as well as these polyurethane bushings. It's made by Torque Solution. It's a replica of Perrin, you know, everybody knows, but it's a little bit cheaper and it seems like the same quality, billet aluminum. It's supposed to stiffen up the shifts. It's supposed to make the transmission move less when you shift. So the install should be pretty easy, and I've already taken the stock one out when I had to do the transmission plate. And I had to take like a bunch of braces off, and one of them was this. So it should be pretty much just a couple of bolts, you know. These, same thing, I guess they go slide right into the stock brace. Not sure, we'll see. So let's get started on this and see how it feels. I'll go for a drive and tell you guys all about it, if I like it, if I don't. So yeah, some people say like don't get a solid mount because there's a lot of NVH, noise, vibration, harshness, but I'm all about that solid connection, car to driver and to like whatever components, transmission, rear diff, you know. I like that race car feel. I just don't want it to be too much, I guess, if that makes sense. All right, let's get started then. So I see there's a lot of movement in the gearbox. So yeah, I just finished the installation finally, and took about, I'd say 45 minutes to an hour. Definitely the easiest thing I've done so far in the car, and the only tricky bit is honestly the bushings. You have to just know the order which they go in, you know, just take pictures of how the stock ones are arranged. For example, there's one that's actually thicker than the other three. So also some of them have like countersunk holes, and you have to know like which, I guess, orientation they go into, because those countersunk bits have to face upwards. Anyway, you'll figure it out. So yeah, I would suggest just taking pictures of everything, you know, how the stock ones are facing, you know, like which side is facing up and down. That's very important. So, I mean, it's not gonna like break anything, but still, you know, you wanna make sure that everything goes in properly. So actually what I did was when I took the bushings out, I actually placed them on the floor exactly how they came out, and the bolts and everything. So when it was time to put it back together, I already knew like the orientation they were facing and everything, so that helped. But I should have taken pictures, honestly, because the second you take it out, like 5 seconds later you forget how it went in. Yeah, without the mount, the transmission actually is really loose. You would think like it's pretty steady in there. It's not. It shakes quite a bit, and the exhaust is connected to it as well. So like the whole thing just moves about, you know, like with all the weight. So I can only imagine like when you hit a bump, or, you know, when you're trying to shift hard, the whole thing just wobbles and it has that inertia, you know, like Jello. Anyway, I'll go for a drive now and tell you guys all about it. Solid transmission mount. Okay, so first start. Wow, right away I can hear more from the car. So it's like, even when you crank it, it feels more connected, so it's like brum, 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 brum. It's pretty cool. I mean, some people might complain about that too, but not me. I dig it. And let's see what it feels like driving. Wow, everything's more transmitting more noise, which is like really awesome actually. I hear the transmission whine, but it's not bad at all. I hear the chatter of the flywheel, but it's only when I let off gas completely. It's like brrr. It sounds like a race car, I swear. Like the best impression or explanation I can give. It sounds like something that has a roll cage, and you put your helmet on, you get in, and you're like plugged in, and it has all those noises, like the whine, the transmission, the grinds. I don't know. It's like really raw. Raw is the word. There you go. So I haven't tried it on actually shifting on the street, but in a second I will. I mean, so far I don't see any difference as far as shifting goes, but at the same time I haven't really done anything drastic. kind of granny shifting right now, but let's see. Oh yeah, I just felt it. So I went into 4th gear and right away it's like immediate connection, like boom. Instead of kind of being spongy. Yeah. I mean, it's subtle, but at the same time I'm driving kind of mellow, so you can't blame the mount. So I'm on the freeway right now, and there's this high-pitched whine from the transmission. It's not too bad, but it sounds like almost like electric. Now I can deal with it though, but you know, just so that anybody who gets this mount, just be aware. You will hear the whine, or it's not even a whine; it's more like a high-pitched beep or something, like, but it's very subtle. I mean, right now it's like it's just winding down like in a gear. When you're in a gear, that's what it sounds like. Kind of like race cars do when they downshift and they kind of go to a stop. It's like, kind of like that. I don't know if my impression of it is good or not, but that's the best I can do. Right now I'm in neutral, so I'm going to first, and then I let the clutch out. So there's less lag, it's just like immediate. It's definitely sounding really good, like all the sounds that were there before with the exhaust and the J-pipe, now it's louder. Now it's like directly bolted onto the chassis, so you not only hear it now, you feel it, and I don't know, it's just like more cool, better experience, I guess. I don't know if you guys can hear. Well, I mean, I'll find out later, I guess, if you can hear it when I edit the video, but it's just, there's so many cool sounds. I mean, that feels good. I just accelerated for 2nd gears a little bit, not full throttle. I guess time will tell. I kind of want to spend time with it, drive it a little bit more, and see how I like it. So yeah, I really like the transmission mount, and I thought, why not get the pitch stop mount as well? So it's made of billet aluminum, just as same as the transmission mount. It's made by Torque Solution. Not much to say. Gonna pop it in, go for a quick drive, see how it feels. Decided to get the Group N transmission mount. The Solid one is nice and all, but it's a little bit too much, like too much whine, 1st and 2nd gears. Also, I noticed like this high-pitched whine at high speeds. I don't know, didn't like it. It's like the benefits were good, but not good enough. It's like the solid feel and everything, but that's the same thing I heard from Group N. So I'm gonna pop this in, see how it feels compared to the Solid mount, and go from there. If it ends up too much, then I'm just gonna put the stock one in and get one of those inserts from White Line, and that insert into the stock mount to fill the gaps. But from what I heard, this is actually like the best bang for the buck. I paid, I think it came out to like 90 bucks for this, but you can get it for cheaper. Yeah, the build quality is good. I mean, it says Subaru on it, so it's a legitimate part. Not much more to say about it, really. So I'm just gonna install it, see how it feels. Yeah, the stock one you can easily grab like this and just flex, like bubble gum. But this one, nope. And, you know, it's like, I mean, it feels like it's made of steel. Like the whole thing, just no flex. So I'm kind of worried because I don't want any whine anymore or any chatter, because I kind of got tired of it. I also installed the pitch stop mount. So since I have a solid mount for the transmission, I couldn't tell any difference when I installed the other part. So I don't know, hopefully both of them, that and this, work together. Hey, what's going on, guys? So had the Solid mount for about 2-3 weeks or so. You know, my favorite thing about the Solid mount was the rumble. Like when you start up the car, you actually feel the whole cranking of it, like just transfers into the cabin so prominently. It's like, I don't think it's worth it. You know, the chatter chatter is pretty ridiculous. Like the flywheel chatter, that's what it is. Especially with windows up. I mean, it's not as bad, surprisingly, with windows down. I guess the environment kind of muffles it, but when you close the windows and just hear the car, you hear a lot of the whine. So for those who don't want the whine or the chatter, just avoid any kind of solid mounts, or any, I guess I would even avoid the ones with the bushings, you know. Just go for like a group pan one, or get one of those white line inserts that insert into your stock one, and then get the positive shift kit, which just the bushings, you know, like stronger bushings. So that, I don't think it transfers any vibrations, any, you know, noise into the cabin, not from what I could tell. So installed the group pan over the weekend, and so far I've driven about 3 days or so with it, and so far it's awesome. Can't say anything negative about it. All the noises that were there, like the whine, the chatter, gone completely. Still have the rumble, not as much, about 50% of what it was. Still amazing, you know, like compared to stock, you feel the car more. Definitely the shifter, I don't think it wobbled once when I accelerate and stuff, you know. With the stock mount, like if you place your hand on the shifter, which I always do when I drive, and you can actually feel the shifter move every time you accelerate or decelerate. It's like the shifter goes up and down a little bit, you know, or a lot when it's stuck with the stock mount. But so yeah, it should be like one of those mods you get along with the shifting mods, like the Boomba transmission plate, Boomba short shifter, shift stopper, heavy shift knob, and solid bushing for the shifter. This should be one of those mods you add to it, you know, like the transmission mount and the positive shift kit. So that sort of completes the shifting aspect of the car. You definitely want that if you don't like the shifting of this car. Like I personally could not stand how the car shifted when I picked it up, and was excited about the car. Yeah, I did not like the shifting. It just, I drove it home, I was like thinking to myself, you know what, maybe I made a mistake, you know, like maybe I should have chosen another car. But no, I mean, I started doing research and kind of just saw a lot of people complaining about the same thing. They found solutions to the problem, and the main complaint was like gravelly, notchy shifting, you know, kind of like hard to get into gears, wobbly shifter, what else? Too long of a throw, things like that. So the Boomba stuff completely eliminates it. The heavy shift knob makes it smooth, like almost like buttery smooth sometimes, you know, like you go into like third gear, second gear, fifth gear, it just slides right in. The Boomba shift plate, it's super heavy, it's like double the weight of the stock one. Can't go wrong with that, to be honest. Like it clicks into gear almost. It's pretty amazing. The short shifter by Boomba, also pretty amazing. Sits a little bit closer to the driver, so you want to definitely get like a taller shift knob, because if you don't, it's gonna hit the e-brake every time you shift into second gear. It hits the e-brake. Super annoying, but surprisingly, it's the stock shifter that had the kink in the shifter itself. With a taller shift knob, it's not a big deal, because this 3.5-inch teardrop that I have actually just clears the e-brake completely, so that I shift into second gear and it's perfect. What else to say? I mean, I want to just like fit everything into this video. Should probably make a separate video on the shifting, but I feel like the transmission mount, it's part of the shifting package mods, you know. So like super highly recommend this stuff, guys. Just get those. You'll be in love with the car, like how it shifts. Probably like 1000% better. Felt like you're going through gravel, you know, like you go into first gear, it's like what's going on, you know, it doesn't go in sometimes. You have to like force it in. Going from first to second, it's like sometimes you even have to find the second gear because it goes too far to the left. So because naturally first and second gears have their own kind of path, so if you go too much to the left, you then have to go to the right a little bit to go into first, then you go down to the second, you have to go to the right a little bit to go into second. It's nonsense, you know. Get a shift stopper, super easy to install. I plan on making more of these videos where I just review stuff versus just installations and instructions, because there's so many of those already. I feel like people benefit more from like actual reviews. Those kind of videos I think are more popular and useful. So So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope this helps choosing the right mods for this car. It's like so easy to get the wrong mods. It's too many mods for this car available. It's probably the most popular car out there, or one of the most popular, you know, and you can just choose the wrong stuff so easily. Yeah, you should definitely do your research, but at the same time, it's like you should do the right type of research as well. You should read like 50 things, 50 reviews on one part, and kind of try to read into it, you know, because for example, there's a lot of shift plates for this car. There's one by Cardboy, there's one by Perrin, I think there's one by Cobb, and honestly they all kind of do the same thing, but Boomba has the best plate. That's, you know, bottom line. Simple truth is, because it's double the weight of the stock one, and the rest of them are actually much lighter than the stock ones, so you get too light of a shift plate, shifts get even notchier, even harder to get into gear, you know. So it's not hard to work on this car as long as you take your time, you know, not rush anything, and it's pretty fun actually when everything just clicks into place and you're able to install a mod by yourself. You save a ton of money. I mean, I can only guess how much money I saved just installing things by myself, you know, instead of like paying somebody. Exhaust, J-pipe, coilovers, you know, like the coilovers alone I think is something like $300, $400 to install. Better just do it yourself. Yeah. Plus, honestly I trust myself more with stuff because it's my car. I care a lot about it, so like I know I'm not gonna, you know, half-ass a certain thing. And if I mess up, let's say like I forgot to tighten a bolt, and it's like I have myself to blame, nobody else. That's good, you know. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and have a good one.